Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, 3Continent Master in Strategic Marketing. My name is Paula, and I will be the moderator of the webinar on behalf of PrepAdviser. Today, you have the unique opportunity to learn more about Antwerp's master degree and how it can boost your international career. Here are our presenters, Meredith Wood, Program Manager, and Paul Matthiessens, Dean and Academic Director. Please keep in mind that you can send your questions during the entire webinar by typing them in the chat box. After the presentation is over, our speakers will take the time to give you a detailed answer. So now, about all the candidates who can hear me, I would only ask you to write in the chat if you can hear me, just to test that everything is fine. Please type yes in the chat box. Okay, it seems that everything works perfectly. So everything is set. Paul and Meredith, you can start with the presentation now. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, depending upon where you are joining us from. My name is Meredith, and I'm the program manager here at Antwerp Management School today, and I'm joined by my colleague.
I'm Paul Matthiessens. I'm the Dean of Antwerp Management School, but I'm also, on top of that, the academic director of our 3Continent master program.
And of course, we're super excited to tell you a little bit today about one of our most exciting master programs. So before we get started, let me run you through the agenda. So of course, we'll do an introduction of the school in Antwerp in general. Then Paul will also take over and talk more specifically about the master program itself. And I'll take it back then and talk about how to apply because we're sure you'll be convinced why it's a great program. Like it was said earlier, we are more than welcome to answer any questions that you have, so feel free to send them in as this presentation goes on, and at the end, we will be sure to answer them for you. But before we get started on the 3Continent program more specifically, we always think it's nice to show you all of the programs that we have here at AMS. You can see here we've got 9 different master programs, 2 of which are taught in Dutch, but 7 which are taught in English. Something unique about a couple of them is you have the opportunity to get 2 master degrees in 1 year. One of those being the 3Continent Master in Strategic Marketing program. But now I'm actually going to pass it off to Paul to go ahead and tell you a little bit more.
Hi. Our institute has an international recognition and quite some of them, but we just display here a few of the most important recognitions that we have. Yeah, we're ranked in the Financial Times ranking on a worldwide basis on a 30th place with this program. And we also have the accreditations, being it from the local government, so that you are sure that your degree is a Belgian degree. And also we have an accreditation from AACSB. Yeah. The point is that we are a very international institute. Yeah. Although we call ourselves a boutique business school, that means that we offer a very personal and quite unique service to our participants and also a very personal atmosphere. But we are very, very diverse in terms of nationalities. Yeah. Currently, we have 33 nationalities participating in our master programs, and Antwerp by itself is also a very international city. Why is that? Because we're a port city, yeah, just like Rotterdam or any other port city. There's a lot of nationalities flowing in and out in this city. It is counted at about 170 in total. Yeah, you can see on the map that practically all countries, all regions are somewhat covered. The African region a little bit less. So if some people from there are attending, you're more than welcome to. Our 3Continent master program is a very unique program in the sense that 2 partner schools that are both accredited and with all the rankings needed, that both of our institutes we joined to display and to design a master that leads to a double degree. So in the end, you will get a double degree of two institutes. Yeah, that's one in Europe and one in the USA. So you also will have an experience in 3 continents. So you will get 2 degrees, but in a coverage of 3 continents. So the program on an international level has a competitive price, yeah, because you will also obtain an American degree, and later on you will see that if you flow directly into American universities, normally the price will be higher than what we charge. Yeah. Now, what is important is that you will get quite state-of-the-art insights. That's exactly what we try to do. We are looking into what happens in the real world with a lot of pragmatical experiences, cases, company visits, and so on. And what we are actually doing is that we give you up-to-date, up-to-standard, state-of-the-art academic knowledge, but also at the same time very pragmatic skills. And that really goes very deep into how to present yourself, how to negotiate, and so on and so forth. What you will also see is that we exploit in the living and studying in 3 different places. We absorb, we use a lot also the local content and the local context. Yeah, so I think that's also quite unique in this program, right? And what is quite important also is that after you obtain the 2 degrees by June of the next academic year, that means June 2019, then if you would join in September 18, by June 2019, you would have the possibility for OPT, the optional practical training in the USA. Perhaps Meredith, you are American. Perhaps you can just explain a little bit what this is all about.
So if you choose to go for the OPT, that actually means that you can stay and live and work in the US for 2 years without needing a company to sponsor your visa. So it's invaluable for people that want to work in the US and get that sort of experience.
Okay. At that time, I think you're ready for the program setup. So on this slide, you see the program set up, right? From September to December, you are here in Antwerp, yeah? What means that you will be in our new building. We will have new premises as of 1st of September next autumn. And you will interrupt that, but at a certain moment, you will go for about a fortnight. You will go to South America, to Brazil, where we have a life-changing experience. The students, they really say like, wow, this experience touched me. It's so profound. It's very deep. This was the greatest experience that I have, because we will really plunge you into, we will dump you into an experience bath of the bottom of the pyramid in South America. After that, you still come back to Antwerp for another 4-5 weeks. Then it's Christmas. Then you go home or wherever you want. And then you will fly early January into the USA, to New York City, where you will go to our partner, Fordham Gabelli School of Business, where you will stay until early July 2017. So let's now focus a little bit on the 3 institutes. That I will do that very briefly so that I can then cover a little bit what is really done subject-wise in the 3 different locations. But let me just say that we are a relatively old business school. Yeah, we have programs of 2 types. One is a set of programs that you are interested in, otherwise you wouldn't follow this webinar here. It's, let's say, a program for young professionals, young potentials, we also call them, recent graduates that are interested in deepening out certain aspects of management. And then we have a whole cluster of executive programs. And by the way, we also have an executive PhD program that is very, very global, where we have on the 15 students that are doing that. It's a very selective program, but there are really 5 continents and 30 nationalities, just to tell you. The University of Fortaleza is quite a young university. You see, founded 73. It's in the northeastern part of Brazil. And that means that's a region really that is a little bit less developed. We don't go to the biggest city. The visit is really bringing you like living among relatively poor Brazilian people rather than bring you to the lounges of the big hotels in Sao Paulo, for instance, or Rio, or whatever big megapolis in South America. So they also have programs at different levels. What you should know is that they are a very pragmatic university. They're really sponsored by industry, industries behind. There are a lot of testimonials going on there. It's really a very pragmatic university. And then Fordham Gabelli School of Business, it's in the heart of New York City. And I'm really talking about the heart of New York City. You must think of the Lincoln Center, and that's about at 63rd Street. So it's really downtown Manhattan. And I can tell you that it's really nice living there. It's a good institute and asset. They have broad offerings as well. As to the teaching methods, you see the next slide. The teaching methods, well, I'm not going to read up this slide. I guess the fact that you want to study here, you can read yourself, so that's not a problem. So here you see we really like to do a lot of blended formulas, I would call it. Yeah, so very interactive teaching. We have all kind of group sessions. We have a lot of case studies, company visits, etc. An important thing is that we also have personal and career development programs set up. And perhaps there as well, you can add something, sure. Meredith.
That's just one of the great things about Antwerp Management School, our leadership and career development track. We don't just focus on the hard skills, but we focus on the soft skills because we find that's what makes our students, really competitive in the job market. They know their strengths and their weaknesses, and we really help them develop those weaknesses into strengths. But also, we put a lot into helping you with your career search. So you would get that here, and then also, of course, in New York. You have mock interviews with different recruitment companies. There's CV sessions. You learn how to be the best candidate out there, and we help you any way we can.
Perfect. And then we go into the three models. So as you know, Antwerp, Brazil, a little bit back to Antwerp, and then to New York. As you see here, the topics in general lines, here you get the introduction to marketing, because we have also people from different origins, not only from a nationality point of view, but also naturally from a point of view of the prior studies, right? So we might get people that have studied the arts, or we might have people that have studied languages or engineering. So for them, it's necessary to get a quick wrap up of what marketing is all about, but immediately we go into the deep, because we will also go into all kinds of elements like customer-centric marketing, like global and business-to-business marketing. So that's in the first cluster. Then in the meantime, we go to Brazil. And as you see, I told you already a little bit about bottom of the pyramid marketing. How do you do that? How can you earn money? How can you do that to sell, let's say, products to people that have an average income of, say, 100 euro in a month, or even less, 50 euro in a month? So how can you do that? Some companies do that. So that's really what we're discussing there. All these people have their smartphones, and it's a very modern society, but on the other hand, they're bottom of the pyramid. Also there, we're looking into sustainability issues, like social programs. Do they have an effect for companies? Why do we do that? All that kind of things. And then in New York, what we basically do is we go into the real modern marketing of numerical marketing, metrics, Google Analytics. We will go into how can big data help you on performing your marketing. How can you really do customer relationship management with all the social media that we have? It's quite an active and quite an actual model as well, in this sense that you also know what happened to Facebook and Cambridge Analytics and so on. So it's, I think, very, very interesting to discuss among peers and with highly qualified professors from New York on that subject. So here you see a more detailed layout of some of the topics that we share with you in Antwerp. If there are any questions on that, we will see. On the bottom, the last one is perhaps important, personal and career development. That refers to what Meredith said earlier to you about coaching, about helping you to grow as a person and to be more ready for the job market. That's actually what we want to do. We have a top professor there, Banu Golezerki. She's really going very deep in strengthening your personality, in coaching you, and be more confident, and also perhaps more selective in seeking for a job. That's basically what I would like to say. For Talisa, I think I mentioned that good enough now at this stage. Otherwise, I'm always willing to help you more and further on these topics. And for New York, you see the list of topics, asset, data, cloud, that's and numerical analytics. That's the type of things there. Well, I think personally that if you want a job in marketing, this is really key also, because you will not be the marketing manager as of day one. So you apply for a job where you help a company fill a gap in their capabilities. And many companies these days are short of people that understand social media, that know how to do Google Analytics and play with that kind of thing. So here you are armed with these things, and definitely if you could then stay one more year in New York or in another part of the US, naturally, to apply this, I think if you're then from Asia or from Europe coming back in your country, you will have a competitive edge, I'm pretty sure, over your competitors, which are other students on the job market. So that's for that. Then we come to the practical information. I think I could give the word to you for that.
Of course, it's important to note the tuition fee. That's 29,000 euros, but that does cover your tuition to all three institutions that you go to. So the tuition to Antwerp Management School, in Fortaleza as well, and then to Fordham, which is, like we said, definitely competitive for the U.S. degrees. If you look at what a U.S. master degree sometimes costs, this is quite low. Then when it comes to cost of living for 10 months, because you're going between different countries, flights, etc., we do estimate that around 25,000 euros. Housing in New York can be expensive. We do support you, though, finding that housing in New York. If you have trouble finding housing here in Antwerp, we also have a solution for that. And of course, going to Brazil, we make sure that you have a place to stay there. Like we said earlier, for the career possibilities, we help you, and so does Fordham as well, help you there. Like we said, we want to make our graduates the most competitive on the job market. So we will do everything we can to help you find that perfect job, and to make sure you're ready for that perfect job. And we do our best to keep it kind of a small class size. It's an intense program. You're going to 3 different continents, so it normally does stay quite small. And lastly, the dual degree opportunity, like you mentioned earlier, it's invaluable, especially if you want to work internationally, outside of Belgium or outside of your home country. You would have an accredited degree from 2 different top player schools, I would say. But since we've obviously convinced you how to apply at this point, let us tell you how. So first, you can go online to our website, so Antwerp Management School, and complete the online application form. And here you can see what you need to upload for that. Of course, it's a motivation essay, which we have some prompts for online, your CV, your academic transcripts, and then it is important, this program does require a TOEFL or an IELTS because you're going to study in the US as well. Once you're done with that, you're invited to take an online numerical and verbal assessment. So it's our version, kind of like a mini GMAT. Nothing to be afraid of. Of course, there's preparatory help, but that's the next step. And once you are past that, then you're invited for either an on-site interview or a Skype interview with maybe myself or some other people, some of our colleagues. It's also important to note the deadline. So you can see on there for non-EU citizens, it's June 1st. And for EU citizens, it's August 15th. We have those in place because the visa procedure can take quite some time. And we also say the earlier, the better. We work on a rolling admission basis. So once the program is full, it's full. But at this point, this is all we have for you, and we would love to hear any questions that you might have. Someone asked, do you think I will have time for a part-time job meanwhile? Dependent upon the country, it's an intense program. That's something to note. But if you could find something that's flexible, it could be a possibility. Normally, we recommend staying away from working when you're studying here. But if it's something you can manage, if it's a flexible job where if a group work comes up or you have an exam tomorrow or something where you can be flexible with it, I think it could work.
I think in some cases, if you could find something, for instance, in your Antwerp period or in your New York period, it should be something really like Meredith says, very flexible. But I also think something like some work at the university or close to the university would help. If you really have to commute to Brussels from Antwerp, that will already be very difficult, I guess. Yeah, because there's also a lot of group work, and naturally that goes a little bit into the evening and so on. But yeah, I think with a little bit of flexibility, definitely not a full-time job, probably some hours a week or something. Yeah.
Someone asked, do you have any help to pay the tuition fees? There's a couple things we could do there. Of course, if it's necessary, we could work in installments. So you never would have to pay right up front 29,000 euros. We're happy to spread that, across however many months it needs to be to help you with that. There is an opportunity. We have some partial scholarships of 5,000 euros that you're able to apply for. It would ease the burden of tuition. Of course, it's not the full price, but it's something to help there. Someone said, do you have a success story about someone who succeeded? So I'm trying to think. A lot of the students, I'm just thinking of really good jobs that our students have gotten. We've got people working as brand managers, marketing officers, digital marketing analysts. There's so many success stories. I don't know. I'd have to pick out.
We also have a student blog. Can they find some information on that?
Yeah, we have a student blog on our website. It's I will send the link afterwards, actually, to everyone, because I'm trying to remember. Or you could also Google the Antwerp Management School student blog, and you can definitely find it there. Someone said, is the interview enough proof of English or IELTS, or is it necessary to take? Because you are going to the US for this program, they do require an IELTS or a TOEFL. I think that's actually part of the visa process and part of the registration process with Fordham. So an IELTS or a TOEFL is necessary unless you're a native English speaker.
Yeah, Marcella, I think you asked that question. If I read it well here, I can tell you that the American university is really tough on that. So I think we could say, oh, but we hear in the interview that this guy in this case is very good on English, but they will not accept that. It should really be a test. Yeah, that's for all American universities basically. Yeah, so
maybe you could answer, is digital marketing the major part of the?
Well, the digital marketing is definitely in the second part. It's digital, it's mobile, it's that's a big part of that second of the second part of the New York part naturally, but it's only a part of it, right? Because it's also about marketing numerics. Yeah, marketers are measuring a lot, and definitely that links to social media, that links to website traffic, that links to Google Analytics, and so on. So it's much more than alone social media or so. So yes, digital is a big and important part. Also mobile marketing, you will learn about that. But for instance, in the first part of the course, you're also learning a lot about the strategic issues of marketing and about even the business-to-business aspects and global aspects of marketing. So I would say yes. I would design it rather as a triangle. Yeah, if I look at a triangle, one in the triangle would be like the digital aspect. Another one would be like big data, numerics, and so on, which for me is not the same as digital and social media and so on. And then and the last point is that it's very strategic in the sense of innovation in marketing, strategic aspects of marketing, globalization, so international development, and also like I said, how can you earn money in a country like Brazil? These kind of questions. But surely it's interlinked. It's a triangle. So these consumers there will also use a lot of digital marketing. So, but definitely if you do this, you can tell companies, I know about digital marketing. I know about how to use marketing analytics. So otherwise it would fail this program, definitely.
Someone asked if we have company ties to help with the OPT visa, so to stay in New York after. While you're in New York and while you're at Fordham, you're doing so many company visits. I know the group yesterday was actually even heading to New Jersey to go on a company visit. So it's not even just in New York. At the end, you're also doing sometimes projects with companies. So you have a lot of networking opportunity to find the company that fits you there.
Still, we do think that you don't have to wait for the month of May or something, because you can only do this program when you have emerged, when you have something in your hand. So I think it's quite good that you started early. Now, the professor, Sertan Kabadai, who is our, let's say, I'm the academic director here in Antwerp and overall, but he is kind of an academic director in New York. He comes and visits us in the month of, normally October somewhere, end of September, beginning early October. And I think if you're really interested, it would be good to have a chat with him, so that perhaps already he can bring you in some contacts with companies he wants to do projects with, so that you can already start applying for that a little bit earlier, so that you still have about 6 months to shape that relationship with that company. Because if you really have to start from zero in the month of May or so, I don't think you're in time for staying in July or August. I mean,
someone asked, what are the basic requirements for an international student application? So that would be the previous slide. So you have to upload your transcripts, your motivation essay, your CV, and then of course the interview and the online assessment. I think it's really important. We want to see your motivation. We want to see why you want to come here and why you'd be the best person for the program. How do we apply for scholarships is another question. The scholarships are available to people that have paid their first installment already. So of course you'd have to be admitted, so go through that process. As soon as, if hopefully you're admitted to the program and if you paid your first installment, actually on our website, a tab would become available where you would see scholarships, and then you'd be able to see the prompt and tell us why you deserve that scholarship. Let's see. Does the program focus on the future of consumer privacy of digital mobile marketing?
This question here, I think we dropped that one.
Let's see.
What companies do you have ties with? Okay, that one we got. My question is, so interested in international marketing is my passion. Don't have the money.
That, for that, of course, the scholarship would help, and the payment plan is something that we could definitely.
Yeah, for there's somebody who says like, this is my passion, but I'm not sure I would be able to pay this. So it's about that. Yeah, sure. That's always a kind of a troublesome thing.
Yeah.
But I think we have in fact a scholarship, and then the installments could be discussed, that kind of thing. So for somebody coming from Africa, we could also consider our AMS fund, but that's only for African countries. So that's an additional fund that we might be able to use, but then we need to have a strong case. Yeah, so we can talk about that.
Someone asked, how many internships do you have with real businesses during the study? I'll kind of twist the question a little bit. So in the first semester, when you're in Antwerp, you're doing a lot of company visits. So you're not actually doing an internship necessarily there, but you're getting a lot of networking experience, meeting with different companies, and a lot of the times working on case studies for them or doing some sort of workshop with companies. But it's when you go to Fordham in the second semester, when at the very end you're working on a project within a company there. So, and that's the end of the program. So the last few weeks of the program that you're doing that. What is the most important aspect that we look at when accepting someone? Of course, it's the total package, but we really want to see your motivation. We want to see why you want to be here and why you're the best person for the program, and your drive and your passion for it, because that's what we think makes the most successful student. It's not necessarily the great stellar grades that you have, but it's the drive within you to succeed and to really do this program.
Yeah, I think marketing is also about passion, to be honest. Yeah. I'm a marketing professor. I'm actually teaching also on this program, the B2B and global business part. I must say that I've also worked the whole weekend again on a new publication. Marketing is really drive, it's passion. And I think we want to see that. Yeah, we also have a group there, and we also want to see how you can contribute to the group. Yeah, if you are a group player or not, it's also quite important. We like motivated students, but at the same time, we also want students that are open to the opinions of others. Meredith, that's true. Eh? We are not hierarchical thinkers here. So we like that when she has a good idea, I listen to her idea, and we come into a kind of an exchange of ideas. So it's a bit that social exchange perspective that we have, and that flows through our programs and our groups. So it's also the compatibility with the other students and so on. So we would perhaps not take in, we definitely will not take in somebody who has 20 years of experience and says like, now I'm going to do this program. No, because that would bring you in a kind of a situation that you will be teaching to the others. No, we want a group that learns at the same level from each other, and so that's quite important.
Yeah, and that kind of made me think of something else. I like to say we have a low power distance, in between the students and the professors, because the professors are willing to help you anytime. A lot of the times you even get like all of the contact info. So if you have questions right before an exam or leading up to a couple days before, professors are always willing to meet with you, to help you, to go out of their way to help you succeed too. So I think that's something unique about us. I think the last question is, how can I reach you after this discussion? On your screen now, you can see Laura Hosta's email address. Laura is our recruitment manager, and she is always more than willing to help you with any questions that you have. If they're more specific, she will always put you in touch with one of us as well. But Laura is your first contact point and a good contact point for you.
And if it's really about a program, then Meredith or Laura will put you through to us. Or I mean, we're definitely also responding to your questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
Kasi, Tete, you thanked us. Thank you so much for attending from Kenya or Nigeria. Where was it?
Yeah.
I think it was Nigeria. Okay. Bye.
Cool. Thank you.
Hi again, everyone from PrepAdviser. Thank you, everyone, for joining this webinar, and I would like to especially thank our wonderful presenters for the interesting presentation and for taking the time to answer your questions. For those of you whose questions were not answered or you have additional questions, as they mentioned, you can send them on the email of Laura, or if we receive them, we will send to them as well. Also, you receive, after the webinar, you receive a recording of the whole webinar. So if you missed something, you have the chance to see it again. So wish you luck with your academic journey. Thank you very much, and have an amazing evening, morning, or whatever time it is during the day at your place. Thank you, everyone. Bye.